Krishna Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Vivadadhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Vivadadhari Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yamuna Thira Vanachari Yamuna Thira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Vivadadhari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Thira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Nithai Gora Chandra Nithai Gora Chandra Gora Hari Jaya Nithai Gora Chandra Nithai Gora Chandra Gora Hari Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Nithai Gora Haribo, 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 Nithai Gora Haribo. Nithai Gora Haribo, 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 Nithai Gora Haribo. Gora Premanande, Jayam Vishnupad Paramhansa Privajikacharya Stotra Satyasya Shrimada's Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Ki. Jayam Vishnupad Paramhansa Privajikacharya Stotra Satyasya Shrimada's Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada Ki. Ananti Koti Vaishnavin Ki. Ramacharya Ramacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki. ISKCON founder Charya Sri Prabhupada Ki. Prem se Kuho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki. Vrindavan Dham Ki. Mathura Dham Ki. Navadvip Dham Ki. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki. Jagannath Swami Ki. Ganga Mai Ki. Jamuna Mai Ki. Tulasi Devi Ki. Bhakti Devi Ki. Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki. Nitai Gaura Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pesaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Swami Prabhupada Sri Gaura Karana Shakti Bhakti Narayana Namaskritya Narom Chaivam Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayat Nasya Praisva Bhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavata Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So happy Father's Day to all second fathers. The principal father is Krishna himself. So we are fathers by material standard, but we are souls that are trying to submit to the supreme will of the Lord. So, happy Father's Day anyway. Happy Father's Day to Krishna. Because in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, text 4, Krishna establishes himself as the Supreme Father. Before we start, of course, I have to do the prayers that are relevant, very important to this. Oma Gina Timirandasya, Gyana Gina Shalakaya, Chakshu Umbilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha, Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale, Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Peshaya Bhutale, Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaura Bani Pacharini, Nirvishesha Sunyavari Paschatya Deshacharini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, we'll start today with the verse from Bhagavad Gita, as I mentioned just before the prayers, chapter 14, text 4. And because it's very appropriate to start with that on a day like Father's Day. So I'm going to have you repeat after me the Sanskrit, and then we'll do the English translation also. So we'll do word for word, repeating after me. So please repeat. Sarva Yonishu Konteya Murtaya Sambhavanti Ya Tasam Brahma Mahad Yonir Aham Bija Prada Pita. All right, please repeat. Sarva Yonishu. In all species of life. Konteya, O son of Kunti. Murtaya, forms. Sambhavanti, they appear. Ya, which. Tasam, of all of them. Brahma, the supreme. Mahat Yoni, source of birth in the material substance. Aham, I. Bija Prada, the seed giving. Pita, father. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving Father. So please repeat. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving Father. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In this verse, it is clearly explained that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the original Father of all living entities. The living entities are combinations of the material nature and the spiritual nature. Such living entities are seen not only on this planet, but on every planet, even on the highest, where Brahma is situated. Everywhere there are living entities. Within the earth, there are living entities. Even within water and within fire. All these appearances are due to the mother, material nature, and Krishna's seed-giving process. The purport is that the material world is impregnated with living entities who come out in various forms at the time of creation according to their past deeds. Vanchakalpatarubhishya kripasunibheva patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha anandalilamaya vigrahaya himavyadivecha pishandaraya tasmi mahaprema raspadaya chitanya chandraya namo namaste chitanya chandraya namo namaste chitanya chandraya namo namaste chitanya chandraya namo namaste. Hare Krishna. So, of course, all over this country, today is being celebrated as Father's Day. And we had Shri Nitai Gora Chandra Ki. A little while back, we had Mother's Day. Mother and father are very, very important as far as bringing souls to the material world. This is Krishna's arrangement. Mother and father are our principal persons in the material world. And therefore, when we are growing up, their way of looking at things are put into what we begin to understand as life. In other words, how they train us, how they bring us up. The role of mother is very important, the nurturing process. The role of a father is the overall protector and basically the backbone. That is in a regular, normal marriage, family situation. Of course, we know that in Kali Yuga, in different families, based on the karma, there are different things that's happening there. But even with that, excuse me. When a person comes in Krishna consciousness and they begin to take in what's being taught by Srila Prabhupada, especially in this movement, many things become clear as to the roles that we're supposed to play. But before we talk about our roles at our level, it is important to acknowledge the Supreme Father. And this is why we started with this particular text. Bhagavad Gita 14, chapter 14, three modes of material nature, and text 4. It is explained in this verse that Supreme Personality of Godhead is the original Father of all living entities. So there are different communities. Srila Prabhupada likes to talk about them in terms of communities. We have the community of human beings. We have the community of animals. We have the community of, of birds. We have the community of insects and reptiles. We have the community of those that are in the waters, the aquatics. From Krishna's standpoint, he's the father of all of these living entities. They all have souls of the same quality. It's just that the physical bodies are different. But Krishna is the source that makes all come to being. Yes, it is directly for the material world, done not by Krishna himself, but by his expansions, Lord Vishnu. The three Vishnus, the Mahavishnu or Karanadakshayi Vishnu, the universes come out of his pores when he's having his wonderful spiritual sleep. Through the universes, Mahavishnu expands to Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, there is a Garbhodakshaya Vishnu for each universe. And from that, his potency, Lord Brahma is taught. There's also one Lord Brahma for each universe. And the varieties in each universe are created, the planets and the things in the planets. So, from that, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, he expands to Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. And Kshirodakshaya Vishnu is the one that is in every living entity. The Lord is so merciful that even when we leave the spiritual world and come here, with this material world like we're in now, he's still with us. We are souls in these bodies, but he's still with us as a super soul, guiding us if we turn to him for guidance. Or if we want to just enjoy the material nature, then of course the material nature also belongs to the Lord, but we go through complications from that. So one type of body comes to the material world based on whatever that the person is desiring. Karma, next life, different body, and so on. And so, whatever body that decision is made based on the person's likes, they go into that particular body, and the father of that species, the male of that species, impregnates the female, and that particular child, for lack of a better word, for human beings, of course, child and other offsprings are born in different species. So that's fatherhood for us at this point, for us human beings here. But Krishna looks at all living entities as his offspring, and he is the Supreme Father. He is the Supreme Father. Therefore, on Father's Day, we should start Happy Father's Day to Krishna himself, because he is the Supreme Father. And then we'll look at some of the things too, later on from Srimad Bhagavatam. Such good advice that Krishna's expansion as a king, Maharaj Rsabhdeva, Maharaj Rsabhdeva had 100 sons, and he was king. And before he left the kingdom to his sons to run, and he took basically renounced life away from material activities and kingly duties, material duties, and so on. He gave some words of advice to all his 100 sons. We will look into that today also. But the first one, the reason why Bhagavad Gita chapter 14, text 4 was pulled, and in fact it was like 10 minutes ago that I actually pulled it out and put it. I said, let's start with Krishna because he's the Supreme Father. Now, Maharaj Rsabhdeva, his advice is found in Canto 5, chapter 5. The very first text, he begins to talk. Read the Sanskrit first, and then the English translation, which really makes a great point about what life should be. Rishabha vacha nayam deho deha bhajam niloke, kastan kaman aharte vid pujam ye, tapo divyam putraka ye na sadvam, suyet yasmad brahma sukyam tvanantam. So here's what Lord Rsabhdeva is saying to his sons. So he's the father advising his sons. My dear boys, of all the living entities who have accepted material bodies in this world, one who has been awarded this human form should not work day and night simply for sense gratification, which is available even for dogs and hogs that eat stew. What should one do? One should engage in penance and austerity to attain the divine position of devotional service. By such activity, one's heart is purified, and when one attains this position, he attains eternal blissful life, which is transcendental to material happiness and which continues forever. So, Maharaj Rsabhdeva is telling his sons, you are souls that have accepted, or you have been awarded this human form, the human beings, just like we all are here. This human form is what Srila Prabhupada terms the escape body. Escape body in the sense that it is the type of body which has enough intelligence that if we use it properly, we would see the world for what it is and begin to question the struggles that we're going through and how to get out of those struggles. The other type of non-human bodies, from animal bodies down to the aquatics, they don't have that kind of intelligence. And so Maharaj Rsabhdeva says, of all the living entities who have accepted material bodies in this world, the ones who have been awarded human form should not work like the way the others who don't have human forms are doing. They are just going after sense gratification. Now, the way in which the Prabhupada has structured this ISKCON in terms of its do's and don'ts, when a person is getting initiation, you vow to chant the holy name, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, a number of times, 16 rounds, which will then get the person repeating Krishna's name several times during the day so they can remember Krishna. Actually, it's supposed to be 4 times as much, but 64 rounds, but Srila Prabhupada brought it down to 16. Even within 16 rounds, there is quite a repeated mention, thousands of times, Krishna's name, so we can remember him. And out of that, the chanting aside, there's also principles that we have to follow and some that we shouldn't do. No meat, fish, or eggs. No intoxication. No gambling. No illicit sex. And each one of these that we mentioned here, we can make a case that many non-devotees, human beings, see this as a way to gratify their senses. They drink because, or they take intoxicants because they want to feel happy or at least forget some of the trials that they go through in life. They gamble because they're hoping that one day they'll strike it big and become rich and life will be better. They like eating with quite a taste for meat, fish, eggs, and so on. And then they involve themselves in sex life, not for children, very few times for children, but the rest is all for sense gratification. And Maharaj Rsabhdeva says, those who have been awarded this human form should not work hard day and night just for sense gratification, because that's even available for dogs and hogs, don't have anywhere near the kind of intelligence that we have. One should engage, and he says what to do then. The very next sentence he says, one should engage in penance and austerity to attain the divine position of devotional service. One should be involved in serving the devotees, serving Guru, and serving the deity. Now, for us in Krishna consciousness, and I've heard Srila Prabhupada say this more than once, the same regulative principles that I just mentioned, that's our austerity. That's our tapasya. Why? Because all around us, people are engaged in drinking, they engage in illicit sex, they engage in gambling, and they engage in all of these kinds of things for their senses, to gratify their senses. And so to stay away from those gives us peace of mind. We can prove it. It won't take long to prove that at all. Regulative principles, obeying it will give you peace of mind. But it also takes us away from the lifestyle that people are living now. So pulling away from it, willfully pulling away from that type of lifestyle, is a form of austerity. It's a form of austerity. Now, we said that obeying the 4 regulative principles, staying away from the things that we're not supposed to do, would give us peace of mind. Well, so let's look at not involving ourselves in eating flesh of animals, apart from the fact that killing a cow is the most grievous offense, and eating the flesh of it. The human body is not designed to take that type of food. It's not, at all. We are designed for vegetables. Our intestine system, and it's far longer than the animals that eat flesh, because it gets out of their system a lot more quickly. They also have the equipment, natural equipment, the claws, and also the canine teeth that they can tear flesh and eat. We don't have any of that. We don't have any of that. Sometimes I just kind of laugh when I remember in my biology class in high school, they talk about the teeth of human beings. They say, oh, the one side here is canine. And I said, well, how canine is it? Does it look like an animal? So you can't miss the canine teeth in the animal when the animal opens his mouth. We're supposed to have canine teeth. For the most part, when we eat, the food goes to the back of the teeth, and we grind. That's what we do. We grind the food, just like others. Animals that eat grass, they also grind the food. That's what we are designed for. And we can talk even more about what happens in the intestines, but rather than even go to this detail about it, I'll just mention one incident that happened when I was teaching in community college. I had just started devotional. I was reading Bhagavad Gita at the time, come into Krishna consciousness, very excited. And so I'm teaching chemistry. Well, there's nothing to do, not directly with Krishna consciousness. But somehow, in talking, the whole idea of not eating flesh came up. And when I started talking about that it was better to be vegetarian, I got a lot of hands that shot up in opposition to what I was saying. So people are saying, we get our nutrition from it, we get our, on and on and on and on and on what they learned about the nutrition that meat gives. Then one person raised his hand, and he said, now this is, most of the students in the class are adult students. This community college, I teach at 6 o'clock, so they finish at 5 and then they come in, taking classes. This guy works at a mortuary where they examine dead bodies. They do autopsies. And he said, this is my line of work, and believe me, many times for people who eat meat, that when we do the autopsy and it comes to the intestines, we find so much of an accumulation of the skins of meat that's stuck there for years and years and years and years. And I was so happy. I said, thank you, Krishna, in my mind. I said, he made a case for me. As soon as he spoke, everybody kept quiet. So, we're not meant to have that. Also, there was a time that at the high school level, I had to teach nutrition. And one of the classes, I just made a nice chart of different minerals and vitamins and so on, and the sources of food that you can get those things. Yeah. Now, this wasn't a devotee book now. It was just a regular nutrition book, and I copied the chart. But one thing that struck me was that for every nutrient that was listed, the food source, sometimes they would list eggs and all kinds of things, but they would always also be able to, I always could find some food source that was vegetarian for that particular mineral. And on down the list, the entire list, there was one after another, whether they were talking about minerals like calcium and on and on and on and on and on. They always had a source, a food source that was vegetarian. And so I made the points. Well, sometimes vegetarians, non-vegetarians is, you vegetarians don't have good nutrition because you're lacking this, they keep saying all the time. But actually, if you look in the good nutrition book, you have tables of all of the elements, and well, I say elements, but minerals, and also the type of amino acids and things that are building blocks in our system. You can find it in vegetarian food. It's there. So we're not lacking anything. We're not lacking anything. Even for devotees who have some restrictions, because we're not entirely vegetarians, the coined term is we are Krishnatarians. We eat what Krishna says to eat. And some of the vegetarian things we don't eat. Still, we're not lacking anything. So meat, fish, they're not designed for the body. Chicken, not for the body, so on. And the guy that works at the mortuary proved it. If you involve yourself in intoxication, you're going to kill your liver. Flat out. You're going to drugs, and you're just going to have all kinds of situations that the liver will be just overwhelmed. And then so that's not good for the health. Gambling. If gambling casinos are still open to this day, no business that is still open is losing. If a business is losing, they're going to close down. So if the gambling casinos are open, they are making money. How do they get money? From the gamblers, those that go in. So the gambling places make far more money than the gamblers do, which means gambling is set up that the person that goes to gamble overall is going to lose than gain money. And illicit sex. We shouldn't be involved in that because biologically, this body that we have is set up such that when a man and a woman involved that way in the seeding process, the body makes arrangements for the woman to be pregnant. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. And so it's not even a thing that Sita Prabhupada says, well, don't involve yourself like that. It is actually biologically set up that way. So if you get involve ourselves and you get into some sort of unwanted pregnancy, we wouldn't even talk about abortion, which is absolutely terrible. But even just people who are married and involve themselves in that type of sense gratification, and another child comes when they weren't expecting it, and sometimes it happens. We weren't expecting the child and they got born, and I just smiled about it and I said, we have actually the better way to go about it. If you don't want a child, then don't do the things that would involve you getting a child. Because you have to raise that child, and these days it costs a lot of money and time to do that. So if intoxication will kill your liver and you stay away from intoxication, that's better health. If gambling means that you're going to lose money, if you don't gamble, you're not going to lose money like that. If you don't involve yourself in the type of foods that are not good for the body, meat, fish, and eggs, then your intestines is going to be saved. As a matter of fact, there was one point that was made in the hospital. Those who go for colonoscopy, the nurses made this comment to me that those who are vegetarian, usually they pass that test, no problem. It's usually those who eat meat that they find situations in the common area. Better health. So if your money's not going to go, your health is going to be better, that alone gives you peace of mind. So the four regulated principles actually does give peace of mind. So who has given us this? Our Father for the movement. His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So happy Father's Day goes to him too. Krishna and Guru, then the fathers of the different families. Actually, we are one big family, Krishna's family, with different units in different homes. That's the way we should see ourselves. So when we obey the regulated principles and try to chant, especially early in the morning, they all count for doing things against what we normally would like to do, sleeping a little more and so on. So that's our austerity, that's our penance. And it gets us to the divine position of devotional service. Krishna says that the extent to which we surrender to the process, he rewards accordingly. And this is a very, very, very true statement that we can prove to ourselves. The more we take Krishna conscious services seriously, the more it affects our life in a very positive way. Anyone who does that, if we take things not taking it so seriously, then you don't get the effects of it so much. But if you put your heart into service, if you put your heart into helping others, if you stop saying negative things about other people, it all helps to clean the mind. And then we become better people. So it's not just for fathers, but it's for all people. For all people. Maghu Maharaj, Bhakti Maharaj gave an analogy about criticizing people. And it's like, well, if you were saying something negative or if you're doing something negative, let's just take an example, you're actually doing something negative. You're taking trash and throwing it at someone. Has anybody done that? You wouldn't even think to do that, right? But we still talk negatively about other people, talk about them. It's like throwing garbage at them. So if we look at it that way, I shouldn't do that. Sometimes the thing that we're saying, we're criticizing other people for, it's true. But we got to remember, where are we? We are in a material world. Who are we? Conditioned souls. What makes us conditioned souls? We have a higher nature by the mercy of Guru. We also have lower nature. Therefore, if we begin to see that there are some things that are of lower nature, is that surprising? If we had higher nature, the whole way, would we be in a material world? No. So basically, saying something about somebody's lower nature, you haven't said anything new. All you've done is actually make them feel negative, or you yourself bringing negativity into your mind, which just clogs the mind and brings all sort of, it doesn't help even one's health. So we have to stay away from that. And that's why we're told in the family, you can see things that are not right. You be the example of doing the right thing. Be the example of doing the right thing. And by that way, of course, for children, you certainly can correct them, but we're talking about adults relating to other adults. Be the proper example. If somebody opens up and tells you some problems that they're having, well, that's the opportunity. And of course, it's encouraged the nectar of instruction. We have to reveal our minds. It's also one of the exchanges of love. Reveal our minds. And so that gives the opportunity then to bring out some things that we may see that is the problem. But even that, you're going to say, it's because you do this and this and this and this, these bad things, it's because you make the other people, the person will only feel bad. So what you do is you suggest the good things to do. If something is bad, there is a good thing. There's the opposite there. So suggest the opposite like that. And so then the person gets to know, if I do like this, if I do like this, if I do like this. We all train that way. I remember so many times, so many people, like that. And they were always going by the things that we need to do. So Lord Rsabhdeva is saying that we should take this human body and go through penance and austerity, as we explained, to attain the divine position of, see, this is important, the divine position of devotional service. The divine position. Devotional service is spiritual. It is spiritual. We may be doing it with these bodies that we have, the material bodies, but it is spiritual action. And we know very well what is the things, or what are the things that non-devotees do. They don't chant like we chant. So our chanting is a spiritual activity. They don't offer what they eat to Krishna and eat the remnants later. At best, a religionist would cook and gather the family around, and Lord, thank you for the food. They go through their prayer. Thank you for this and this. Thank you for providing us with. But they are going to eat what they cooked, though. They're not going to offer the Krishna. They're just going to thank Krishna for Krishna giving it to them. So we're obviously at a higher level of looking or noting Krishna's position and our position as servants. In the purport for this, Srila Prabhupada says, Lord Rsabhdeva is telling his sons about the importance of human life. Human life means voluntarily practicing suffering for the advancement of spiritual life. Now, so in this case, doing some things against what you normally would like to do for sense gratification, that's suffering. This is what Srila Prabhupada means. Of course, lives of animals and plants, they also include suffering. Some of the trees out there, they take all kinds of weather. We are in our air conditioning. They are sitting out there and taking it as it comes. We are in our heaters, heated rooms in wintertime. They take the cold as it comes. So they also go through suffering. Mm? But the suffering or the austerity that humans have to go through, we are trying to do that in order to attain divine life, in order to get to the process of living the way those in the spiritual world live. This is practice for us here. This is practice for us. Guru is a representative of Krishna, so we can practice how to serve Krishna by serving Guru. Mm? And so, in that sense, Krishna is the father of all living entities, and his representative is Guru. So Guru is also a spiritual father for us. Guru is also a spiritual father for us. So it is very important that in our devotee life that we connect and hear the instructions that come from Guru. When we mention Guru, we mean all Gurus. Don't listen to some and say, I won't listen to others. They always have, because Krishna sends his message through all of them. The more you hear from many, many Gurus, the more well-rounded you become. And definitely, it's not a question of just hearing it, it's a question of putting it into practice also. So, Srila Prabhupada says, without Krishna consciousness, a person is no better than a hog or dog. And you know how sometimes it can be very, very, very direct. So the instructions of Rsabhdeva are very, very essential now. Because now people are being educated and trained to work. They work very hard. So yes, life in the spiritual world is very simple. As Srila Prabhupada has said, we have our work, right? Some people have to go through so much just for transportation, the time it takes, the trains and the buses and so on to get to work, and then coming back. Maybe not in America so much. Some people in America have to do it, but many other countries, it takes a while to even get to work. And then after that, and the Americans go through a lot of traffic on the road, going in and coming back, and it's very frustrating. But that's our life. Then, for those who are working, we're not even talking about those who are not employed, that's its own, trouble that comes with it. But those who are working, and even earning good salary, you figure, oh, this is life. So Srila Prabhupada gave an example. So what do you think? Krishna gets up in the morning and goes to work, gets to work maybe about 10 o'clock in the morning because he has a position, and then works to the end of the week, and he gets a salary, and he goes to Radharani and says, I've done my expenditures and we have some left over. Let's just go have some fun, go on vacation, go on a cruise. Is that how Krishna lives? He's pointing at that. He's just having fun the whole time. The whole time. So he was making the point that this is the way it is at home in the spiritual world. Krishna doesn't do 9 to 5 and then gets paid and saves some money and then goes find the gopis who he can have some fun with. Of course not. But this is our life. And that's those who are doing well now. We're not even talking about this. And even those who are doing well, Srila Prabhupada shut down this whole way of life. That's simply. So when we are told to do a little austerity for peace of mind, now that you know the regulatory principles actually does, but they do give you peace of mind, and then chant the holy name, because in Kali Yuga, the process of going back home has been simplified. The one has to just say, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Say it with focus and say it from your heart. And Krishna will begin to open the soul, connect, because that mantra goes to the soul. It's spiritual, it goes to the soul, it wakes up the soul. And that way, we will begin to connect and see the protection that Krishna gives us. There is so much. We are living entities seeking happiness, but the solution to all our problems is practicing Bhakti Yoga, especially chanting the holy name. Then we will become eligible to go back to Godhead. One more thing. We have to understand, and this is also in Bhagavad Gita chapter 4, text 9, never take Krishna's activities as material. Ever. It's all spiritual, even if there's some similarity between what he does and how other people behave as humans. So Krishna is born, but Krishna has no father. When Krishna was born in Kamsa's jail by Devaki, he appeared to Devaki in a four-armed Vishnu, not like a little baby crying. He appeared as four-armed Vishnu. This is not a material appearance. Clearly it's a spiritual appearance. So Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and everything that he does in his pastimes are all spiritual. Some of them are very, very interesting. The childhood pastimes can go on forever, but I'm looking at the time now. The childhood pastimes are wonderful. The pastimes when he got rid of the demons. And this morning I was reading about the Balaram and Krishna killing, and this is the last minute I'm going to put this pastime in the open for questions, because I found it quite interesting. You've heard it before, Denikasura in Taliban, in the Taliban forest. Demon in the form of a donkey. And he had other demons who were also donkeys, and they were all in the forest, in that area, and there was very wonderful fruits in there, and you could smell the aroma, but nobody could go in there. So the cowherd boys told Krishna, maybe we should go in there. But they also said that they were afraid to go in there. This is from Garga Samhita. This Bhagavatam talks about it, but the Garga Samhita has a little more detail about it. And so when they got to the border that they could go into New Taliban, all the cowherd boys stopped. Then Krishna was with them, so he stopped. But Balaram went in and started shaking, shaking. The trees, the palm trees, and the fruits are falling down, and then Kasura happened to be taking a nap. And all of that noise woke him up, so he woke up very angry. Who has come here to do this? So he went from the sound, he saw Balaram. Immediately they turned, they kicked with their hind legs and kicked Balaram. And Balaram just whirled him, grabbed him, whirled him, and threw him to the ground. Now, he was very strong. He was going to fight Balaram. In the meantime, the cowherd boys and Krishna had also gotten in there. So the fight went on for a relatively short while between Balaram and Denikasura. Then Krishna got in. The cowherd boys got in also. Sridham and all of that, they all took turns in trying to hit Denikasura. But Denikasura survived all of them. Krishna threw him 8 miles away. He landed, he passed out. The next moment he was up, he galloped back and started fighting again. And Krishna again whirled him and threw him onto Govardhan Hill. So Denikasura landed in Govardhan Hill. And Denikasura had some of his bones broken, but he had 2 horns. And he got in the bottom and uprooted Govardhan Hill with his 2 horns. And threw Govardhan Hill at Krishna. And Krishna caught Govardhan Hill and threw it back at Denikasura. He threw it back at Renuka. Renuka caught Govardhan Hill and threw it back at Krishna. Krishna caught Govardhan Hill again. And then he threw Govardhan Hill this time to Govardhan Hill's original position. So then the donkey, demon, Renuka, comes at Krishna again and grabs Krishna and goes, I'm trying to think how many miles, quite a long distance, almost, they mentioned thousands of miles, literally, up in the air. And they were fighting there, Krishna and Renuka. And then Renuka got thrown from all of that distance back onto the Taliban forest. And when he landed, practically all his bones broke. But he still was determined to fight. So he tries to get up. He's badly injured. And he lunges towards Balaram, and Balaram grabs him, whirls him, throws him to the ground. And then his left fist, boom, hit him one time, and then Kusura was dead. Now, as we talk about this pastime, I never knew that Kusura was that strong that he could lift Govardhan Mountain up that high. Before that, I read Kamsa also lifted Govardhan Hill. Was able to, no, not Govardhan Hill, lifted the mountain, on the mountains. So they're that strong. Anyway, so I don't want to go on with this pastimes for a while, but anyway, let me stop. We'll wrap it up. So what Maharaj Rsabhdeva is saying is, we should really, really, really take devotional service seriously. Whatever we got to go through, the austerities, it's very little compared to what is waiting for us. And even in this pastime of Renuka, the details of it, it's very, 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 very enlivening to hear. There's so many pastimes that the more you hear about it, and the more you know about the details of it, the less interested you are in the material kind of, activities, or what is called, whatever is fun to us in material. So we got everything, we just have to take it seriously. And Krishna, Guru and Krishna, would allow us to go back home to enjoy pastimes with him directly. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Are there any questions?
Hare Krishna, thank you for speaking on the glories of Rsabhdeva. As you were concluding, you mentioned that the lesson behind Lord Rsabhdeva is engaging in devotional service and performing austerities. And being Father's Day, and I'm assuming the message can also be applied to the fathers and mothers, but because it's Father's Day, so as fathers, of course, I'm not in a male body this lifetime, but I'll speak anyway. Probably the last life, I don't know. but as for a father, how can they set the example to their children in performing devotional service and performing austerities?
Very good question. It is not difficult at all. First, before we even answer the question to the guidance of Guru and Gauranga, the point has been made that if you're going to be a parent, you want to bring children to this world, you should be ready to guide the children into Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, there's no point having children. We want to make that point. And that's not the answer to this, but you have to make sure that child means I'm bringing the child in to teach Krishna consciousness, to try to get this particular soul's journey back to the spiritual world. If we don't do that, then basically we have a child that we're just going to raise in order for them to have some material desires, in order for them to have another physical body, another life, and stay in the material world, stay in the jail. So that's not helpful. So we need to as we're helping others, in many ways, our own children also have to. Now, as far as answering this question, it's not difficult because all you have to do is, first, obey the spiritual tenets, what to do, described by Srila Prabhupada. Do it. But do it in front of your children so they can see you do it. Sometimes we say, oh, you know, I'm a father of my children, yes, and then I have to finish my rounds. My child is going to school, so I finish my rounds and something. When they come, we're doing whatever they're doing. We're done with our rounds. They never saw us chant. How are you going to be able to convince them to chant? Children watch what parents do. The children watch what parents do. Therefore, if you do those things right that you're supposed to be done, that's supposed to be done, you want the child to do, you do that, you create the example, and they see you do it, it's not difficult. I remember in Gitanagri, just one example, in Gitanagri, the mothers at that time were having children, so they were getting pregnant and having children, so many children came, and when they were like 2 years old, so 2 years is between 2 and 5, right, depending on who you were born and so on. It was just beautiful to watch them come to the temple, and they see that the adults at the door, the adults offer obeisances. So all these little children, they also bow their heads, offer obeisances, and it's so cute to see them, you know, because their bodies are more flexible than ours, so they go down so easily. Because that's what the adults, they see the adults do. As a matter of fact, the women in ISKCON, a good many of the women, they were covering their hair. And they have a part of the side they covering their hair. So one of my daughters also, when she was also covering her hair. Pictures, I won't tell you, obviously there are two of them, I won't tell you which one. They're covering their hair. Actually, I'll say it was Chaka. Bride that was covering her hair. You watch what adults do. So all you do is two things. Do your devotional activities so they can see. They get interested, let them be part of it. There was another girl also that came to our house. The parents are God family members, yeah, so parents are devotees. And her name was Devaki. Came to our house, and she had some toys, toy stove and toy pan and toy for cooking. And so she prepared her preparation, and he sat it down, and she made herself, went to a certain place, and in the house, and sat down, and it was like this, and it was quiet. Oh, she's doing Gayatri? Well, excuse me? She's seen her parents do it, but she was imitating. She was imitating. So you'd be surprised that it's such a simple thing. If they see you do it, they'll do it in play, then it becomes a part of their lives. Just like that. That's the easy part of it, yeah, really. So that's the first, let them see it. Don't take your devotional service activities away from the sight of the children. Let them see it. And then they'll copy you, and then it will be just natural for them then. Hare Krishna. Any other questions? Would that address you? Or you want?
Hare Krishna.
Hare
I
Krishna.
just wanted to ask again where it was you read that pastime of Dhenukasura from.
Garga Samhita, I'll have to look at the canto number and then this text you enter. It's Garga Samhita.
I kind of figured as much because the Garga Samhita descriptions are a lot more in depth. So
There's more detail,
I was
yeah.
curious. Thank you.
Garga Samhita is more, but I'll text you the canto name, yeah. Any other?
I have to ask for the father.
Sure.
Because somehow the dad's a little quiet today, so I'm going to trigger a little bit of, poke a little bit. Thank you for that, because when you were sharing in Gitanagri, when the little kids, would come in, what was really, really cute at that time, I remember, sometimes we think that, when we see the pictures of the old ISKCON days, when all the kids would come out, like 3, 4, 5 years in dhoti kurta and tilak, and we think, oh, it's impossible today. And I remember it is not impossible.
Not at all.
Not at all. And I remember when, this was in the 90s up in 2000, when all the kids were coming in, you would see kids ages 3 to 5 or 3 to 6 almost, dhoti, kurta, tilak,
Yeah, Mukunda.
and a small little bead bag.
Hmm.
And a little short, and their japa malas are like very short because, they can't do 180. I mean, let's be real. But it was so cute to see them coming in, completely dressed up with tilak, and they would come and offer obeisances, and they, like he described, they had, a small kid saris and, kid dhoti and all, and then they would come in all like, it was so cute. It was so cute. And I was remembering one of my god sister, Ikadashi Vrata, powerful name, Ikadashi Vrata. And she had 2 sons and 2 daughters. And I think it was, she was a single mother at that time. She was the only Mataji in the whole time, and I couldn't do it. She was the only Mataji, single mother she's still single mother right now. She raised her 4 kids. She would bring her children to Mangal Aarti every morning. 4:30, and I said, Mataji, my obeisances to you. She would carry one at the back, one on the hip, and 2 boys in full dhoti kurta at 4:30 in the morning for Mangalarti every day without fail. And she worked full time as a teacher. It was very sweet, and this was an austerity for her. And sometimes as parents, we think, oh, we shouldn't let our children see how much it is to be austere in spiritual life, because we think, oh, it's a bad sign or it's a bad thing. So how can, as parents, how can we show austerity for devotional service or devotional practice in a positive way?
Very important. The best that we can, we should actually show that devotional service is the right thing to do, so that when they pick up by watching and also imitating, then it becomes easier for them because it's become part of their lives like that. And Krishna would do his part to make them very, very, very fixed in devotional service, and they wouldn't want to go anywhere else. Not to mention, we have the kirtans. The children have very, 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 they're energetic. They can out-jump us. So, so involve them in it, involve them in the kirtan. And then, of course, the prasadam and so on. And like that, little by little by little, then we will, in fact, be able to raise them in Krishna consciousness very, very, very nicely. Srila Prabhupada does mention that from the age 5 on, we should be a little more strict with them. Let them do between 1 to 5, the best that you can. But from 5 on, we need to tell them what's what and get them the proper discipline. It is definitely possible to do it. Definitely possible to do it. That, we can be a little strict. It does not mean that you don't love your child if you're a little strict with them. You don't hit the child. The Srila Prabhupada says no to that. But you definitely can, say things that's important to have the persons begin to get what's right and what's not right. Because after a while, they will follow. And then later on, when they get to the teenage years, they will see what's right and what's wrong. And you become from 15 on, then you become more friendly to them, like that. So that's also the way in which he taught us to raise the children. Hare Krishna. Any other questions? Okay. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Hari.
Can everyone please come closer? Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Shila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Shila Prabhupada. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakhati Sadma. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakhati Sadma. Bandamo Savadana Mate. Bandamo Savadana Mate. Jahara Prashade Bhai E Bhavatoriya Jai. Krishna Prapti Hoy Jaha Haite. Krishna Prapti Hoy Jaha Haite. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Koriya Akhya. Harana Koriyo Mane Asha. Arana Koriyo Mane Asha. Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama Gati. Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama Gati. Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asha. Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asha. चक्षुदा दिलो जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से ओ दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित ओ प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते Ved Gaya Hara Charito Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu Lokanata Lokera Jivana Oh ha ha Prabhu Koro Daya Teho Mare Pada Chaya Oh ha ha Prabhu Koro Daya Teho Mare Pada Chaya Jase Gushuk Tribhuvana Oh Ebe Jase Gushuk Tribhuvana Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Jaya Guru Deva Guru Deva Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gaura Hari Bo. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavade Pashatyade Shetarine Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Rama, oh Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Nitai Gaura Chandra Nitai Gaura Chandra Gaura Hare. Jaya Nitai Gaura Chandra Nitai Gaura Chandra Gaura Hare. Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Panchatattva 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 Jaya Panchatattva. Jaya Panchatattva 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 Jaya Panchatattva. Jaya Nityananda Ram Nityananda Ram Nityananda Ram Jaya Nityananda Ram. Jaya Nityananda Ram Nityananda Ram Nityananda Ram Jaya Nityananda Ram. Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Vrindavana Dham. Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Vrindavana Dham. Jaya Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Jaya Radhe Shyam. Jaya Lalita Sakhi Jaya Vishakha Sakhi Jaya Asta Sakhi Bolo Radhe Radhe. Jaya Lalita Sakhi Jaya Vishakha Sakhi Jaya Asta Sakhi Bolo Radhe Radhe. Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe. Jaya Krishna Jaya Krishna Jaya Krishna Jaya Shri Krishna. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Nitai Gaura Hari Bo. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Nitai Gaura Hari Bo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Srila Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Srila Gurudev. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. Oh, Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo.
Jayam Vishnupad Paramhamsa Privajagacharya Stotra Sati Sishi Maharaj Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Ki Jayam Vishnupad Paramhamsa Privajagacharya Stotra Sati Sishi Maharaj Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavind Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki ISKCON Founder Charya Srila Prabhupada Ki प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की वृंदावन धाम की मथुरा धाम की नवद्वीप धाम की जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जगन्नाथ स्वामी की गंगा माई की जमुना माई की तुलसी देवी की भक्ति देवी की हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की सामवेद भक्तवृंद की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga.
Hare Krishna. Before we start the Shingadev prayers, I would like to make a humble request to all the devotees here. Aniket Prabhu, I think you are somewhere here. There you go. Sorry, Prabhu. Thank you. Aniket Prabhu's maternal uncle's wife is in very, very critical condition back in India. And we would like to say a special Nashingadev prayer for his aunt. And what is really powerful is even though there's so much pain knowing that his aunt is going, but it's really nice to see you dancing with the holy name. That really shows that you have full faith that the Lord will take care of your aunt. So thank you for participating with us. And I would like to ask the devotees as we start the Nashingadev prayers, if we can still really pray for his aunt and pray that the Lord will touch her. And as we say, Lord Nashingadev and Lord Dhanvantari, the Lord of all doctors, for her good health and for her recovery, whatever the Lord decides, whatever the Lord hasn't planned. But it takes the prayers of the devotees to make it very powerful. So if we can get into that prayerful mode and pray for Aniket's Aniket's aunt back in India. Hare Krishna.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Paladadaine Paladadaine Hiranya Kasipo Vakshaha Sila Tankana Kalai Sila Tankana Kalai Nitone Tingo Paratone Tingo Toya toya mita tone singo Bai ne singo hirai ne singo Bai ne singo hirai ne singo Narasimhavadim Sharanam Papaji Narasimhavadim Sharanam Papaji Tava Karakamara Varinakam Amukta Singa Dalita Hiranya Kasipu Tanu Bringa Keshavanita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Re Jaya Jagadisha Re Jaya Jagadisha Re Keshavarita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Re Jaya Jagadisha Re Jaya Jagadisha Re Jaya Nasingade, 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 Jaya Nasingade. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. Sringa Bhagavan ki, Prahlad Maharaj ki, Gaura Premanande.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki. Nitya Gaurachandra ki. Want to thank the devotees for coming out for the Father's Day program. We learned, at least for me, I learned 2 special points, that how as parents, as fathers, performing devotional service and austerity is actually a very good lesson for our children, so that they can also imbibe that mood in their devotional practice and spiritual life. I think that's one of the best lessons that we can give our children. So that was a very nice message. Thank you for sharing with us. And again, on behalf of everyone, we want to thank all the fathers. A very happy Father's Day. And few announcements. I would also like to mention that today is Chaitanya's birthday. Where is he? There he is. So if you see him, how old are you today, Chaitanya? He's 7 years old today. Such a beautiful name, right? There's no coincidence. We have Nitai Gaurachandra and there's Chaitanya right there. Powerful. So when you see him, please bless him, that he will, it's a very popular, always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. That's the best blessings that we can give to any child. So when you see him, please offer your blessings and your wishes, and may he always serve the Lord. Haribo, very, very nice. Few announcements. We know what's happening next Sunday. And what is Snana Yatra? The bathing of Lord Jagannath. That happens next Sunday. So we're going to have a Snana Yatra festival where there will be an Abhishek of the Lord. And it's going to happen right here. And then the Lord falls sick for 2 weeks with fever and cold. And then he comes out on Rath Yatra day. So please do come out next Sunday for Snana Yatra festival, which is the bathing of Lord Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra, and those are the deities right there that will be bathed. And we will do the bathing of the 5 liquids. So please, it's a beautiful ceremony, and it's actually very sweet because it prepares our mind to know that the Lord is going to go rest for 2 weeks, and then we don't get to see him for 2 weeks. And then when he comes out, we're like, oh wow, and he comes out on the day of Rath Yatra. And when is Rath Yatra? It's so weak, right? Okay, the Lord is coming. You got to be excited. Hare Krishna. You know, this is the Lord of the universe that is coming all the way from Philadelphia with smiling face, smiles from year to year. I was told by one devotee that the reason, one of the many reasons, but there's one reason that the Lord smiles from year to year is because he waits for the prasadam. He waits to eat and the sweet. So he smiles from year to year. So the Lord is coming in 3 weeks, and he's going to come and bless the whole city of Harrisburg on Surrey Island. So please do come out on the Rath Yatra day. We have a lot of services that we need to get finished, a lot of preparation, and if you have, we have been sending out sign-up sheets for services. If you have not signed up, and if you're able to, please do sign up. If you are not getting it, please do see Dear Krishna Prabhu right here. And I guess it's just you, Prabhu. Please do seek Dear Krishna Prabhu, and he will guide you on how to sign up, because there are a lot of services. It's a 3-day service. Even though it's a 1-day festival, it's a 3-day service, because we have to do the preparation. We enjoy the day, and then we do the post-service. It's a 3-day festival. It's a beautiful festival. And this is when we see the power of Lord Jagannath working through devotees to come out and really serve the Lord. I mean, it's just an amazing. And we'll be amazed how to see how much not only do they serve, the mood of surrender, the mood of just giving everything is just beautiful. And that's why Lord Jagannath smiles from year to year, because he's enjoying our service. So please, if we can come out on the festival day, that'll be really, really nice. And secondly, can we have the kids a little quiet at the back, please? Thank you. And but in order to make this festival a success, it takes generous donation. And we are requesting devotees, if you could reach into your hands, and from the hands go into the pockets. That's what we say in the Christian churches. You know, reach deep down into the pockets and see what we have to welcome the Lord. The festivals completely take everybody's donation. It does not happen by, just like the Cinderella magical wand. It takes devotees' love and effort and donation and everything they have to make it happen. So if you would like to make a donation towards the festival for Rath Yatra, please do see myself or Dhir Krishna, and we'll be happy to use all the donation in service to the Lord to bring Lord Jagannath. And again, like we said, if you have not signed up for any service, please do see us, please do see Dhir Krishna. A quick announcement, the day before Rath Yatra, we have what is called Adivas Kirtan. And that is when we have a lot of youth coming out of town actually. We have a 6-hour kirtan with His Holiness Chandramali Swami. And I don't know if I share the video, but I'm trying to share the video, but I don't know how. I need to ask one of these young kids who are very techie savvy to see what we are expecting on July 7th by His Holiness Chandramali Swami. Now, if you were here on June 4th, you may have noticed how Maharaj was dancing. He beat every one of us. He was born in 1947, by the way. He beat every one of us. And that is the power of Chandramali Swami. And we ask ourselves why, because he has Prabhupada Shakti. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. And we're going to see him in action on July 7th. And it's going to be from, I'm looking for the youth here. Subra, what time is it, Beta? 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. He's one of the organizers, believe it or not. We are training our youth to organize festivals of Kirtan so that they'll be the future of our temple, leading different stuff. So it's from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. with His Holiness Chandramali Swami. We have youth coming from different states. Please make yourself available. Now, the only challenge here is if you want to be in the Kirtan, you have to create a clone of yourself. I don't know how you're going to do that. Why? Because you have to be in the Kirtan and go out and do service for the Rath Yatra. That's the catch-22. But nevertheless, we are here, and even though we say 2 p.m. to 8 p.m., it goes on till 10 p.m. You have these young people here, they don't eat, they don't sleep, they only do Kirtan. So if you feel you're going to miss out, you're not going to miss out. I promise you that. You're going to come back and you're going to be rocking in Kirtan with the young people here, along with Chandramali Swami. So please do join us on July 7th. July 8th is Rath Yatra. And one last announcement is, which I've been forgetting to mention, is please do mark your calendar for July 23rd, which is a Sunday. If many of you remember, Sri Nitai Gaurachandra came from Navadvip, Mayapur Dham. And on July 23rd, we have the TOVP representatives coming to request us how we can support the building of the TOVP in Mayapur Dham. And we have Janani Vas Prabhu, Brajabilas Prabhu, and the crew coming with the Padukas on July 23rd, Sunday. I don't know about many of you, but I know at least for my husband and I, when we were going to Mayapur to bring these deities, at least a little bit for me is bringing a little drop of Mayapur to Harrisburg City. This is Mayapur. The deities were made in Navadvip Dham. And we are so fortunate to actually have the TOVP come and speak to us about completing the TOVP when we have the lordships coming from Mayapur to Harrisburg. I want to share 2 quick quotes of the power of the TOVP. Srila Prabhupada wrote a letter to Harisari Prabhu, who is his personal servant for many, many years. Srila Prabhupada told Harisari Prabhu, if you all build this temple, now I'm going to go very slow so we can really absorb and digest the words. If you all build this temple, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur will personally come and take you back to Godhead. What more do we want? What more do we want? I can't see any other quicker ticket back to Godhead than this. Forget the loans, forget the mortgage, forget the cars, forget everything. This is it. What more do we need? Just support the TOVP. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, I mean, amazing. He will personally come and take us back to Godhead just by helping fulfill this mission. of Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada wrote to Giriraj Swami, the second quote, Mayapur is the spiritual world manifest on earth. Build your sambandha by seva and glorification of the Dham. As the Dham manifests, so also your seva to it will give you your path back to Godhead. So, I know a few of us who do pujari services. In the mornings, it's very, very quiet. It's just the pujari and Prabhupada and Nitai Gaurachandra, right, Naveen? But isn't it beautiful? It's so beautiful. Because the few of us that do the morning service, when we come in and see Srila Prabhupada, the temple is empty, and we see Nitai Gaurachandra, it's like, this is Mayapur right here. Completely. Came from Navadvip, Mayapur here, so we should be supporting Lord Chaitanya's home in Mayapur. So please, do block your calendars for July 23rd, and we will get the mercy of the great, visionaries behind the TOVP and get the blessings of the Padukas. And the reason they're coming is they would like to complete the Nrsingadev wing of the TOVP. We need to help them. Please. Wow. So Dear Krishna is saying that the date, July 23rd, falls on the Purushottam Mass. I just chose that date because I thought that was the best day to give the devotees 2 weeks of break after Rath Yatra. Krishna's arrangement happened to be Purushottam Mass. Hari Bol. So everything is lining, right? All the stars, the moon, the whatever is all coming into play. So please, block your calendars for July 23rd. Very auspicious day. We're going to get mercy and mercy and mercy from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Before I forget also, Nishita, right? I didn't forget you, I'm Anasuya. We talked. This is her first time here. She's in Harrisburg, working. She found us, she called me, and I told her that it's better for her to come on a Sunday so she can dance with us, which she did. Thank you for coming, Nishita. Thank you, thank you. Before we end, I'm going to ask Ishika if you can say the prasadam prayers, and then we'll go have prasadam. And again, most of the feast is cooked by the youth. And I promise you, the youth are good cooks. I don't know about the youth in other temples, but in this temple, I'm proud of our youth. They can cook. And Kanchan Mataji made the sabji on behalf of her husband, your son. Sorry, Ashutosh. You're unimportant today. It's your son's day. And so please commend and encourage our youth. Encourage our youth. Because it takes, yes. Yes, please. Do not forget that. Do not forget that. And I always tell parents and adults, whether your kids are young or 25 years of age like my daughter is, support our youth, because one day it's going to be this youth that we're going to turn and ask for help for our children. Support this youth. They're very special. I'm not trying to blow their horns. I'm not trying to flatter them, but the youth need us to support them in their Krishna consciousness, in their service for Srila Prabhupada. So Ishika, go ahead.
Mahaprasade Govinde Nama Brahmane Vaishnava Sapapanyavatam Rajam Vishwasane Vijayate Sharira Vidyajal Jalindriya Tahika Jiva Phale Vishesagare Tara Mate Jivayati Lobomoy Sudar Mati Takya Jata Gardin Sansare Krishna Balodayamay Kori Vare Jiva Jai Swaprashadana Nilavai Sayana Mritapao Radha Krishna Gunagao Premedako Chaitanya Nitai, Jai Nitai, Jai Nitai, Jai Nitai, Jai Nitai, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Mahaprashadam ki jai, jai jai. Jai Jai Shri Ram. Jai Jai Shri
Prasadam is served downstairs.